There is no shortage of people defending the Hamas and Islamic Jihad murder and kidnapping rampage in Israeli communities near Gaza. One Hamas leader, in an interview with an Australian media outlet, claimed no civilians were harmed or murdered, and that it is either Israeli fiction, or if there were killings and kidnappings, they were fair targets because, in this person's words, all Israeli civilians are soldiers, settlers, or occupiers deserving of being murdered. The babies and children murdered must have all had supernatural powers in order to be baby soldiers, occupiers, and settlers. The babies and little children taken from their mothers, fathers, or extended families who were murdered are Hamas hostages in Gaza, which is just fine with the millions of people that support Hamas or anyone else as long as the Jew is destroyed, even if the ones harmed, tormented, or murdered are babies, old ladies, little children. Poor Hamas and Islamic Jihad, grown, well-fed men that never had to work for a living and have nothing better to do with their lives than train and to be child and civilian murderers and rapists. If Gaza is an open-air prison, which is one reason they use in order to justify child killing, then it is an open-air prison of Hamas's making. It is impossible anywhere in the world to live next to fanatical jihadis, whether the jihadis are under the name of ISIS, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Al-Qaeda, Abu Sayyaf, Hezbollah, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, or something else. The jihadis that are slaughtering not just thousands, but millions across Nigeria, Somalia, Central African Republic, Mali, Sudan, Syria, Afghanistan, or Yemen, and many other places, and in Yemen where there are Sunni jihadis fighting Iranian-backed Shia jihadis. And these are just a few of the places that are jihadi killing fields in the world, which is almost all ignored, because if the Jew and Israel cannot be blamed, no one cares. The image of a one-year baby girl captive in Gaza being toyed with by a Hamas man. The image of a 6 or 7-year-old Israeli boy being held by the arm by a Hamas adult, while some Gaza children whip the little Israeli boy as he helplessly tries to ward off the blows. The image of a young woman with bloodied pants forced into a vehicle after having been raped and sodomized. The image of a young woman on the back of a pickup truck with jihadis sitting on top of her naked, murdered body. These are a few of the nightmares that these jihadis that fight for nothing have created. Hamas does not fight. Islamic Jihad does not fight to end occupation or for freedom or for anything that will better humankind. They fight only to kill Jews and create another fanatical Islamic state, just like what ISIS had, which includes murdering and ethnic cleansing Jews. Every child in Gaza, in Israel, every civilian on both sides of this conflict does not deserve the nightmare that jihadis bring wherever they go, wherever they are. Without terrorism, without the fanatical pursuit of Jew killing, this conflict would have long been over, and there would have been peace and justice on both sides. Most Jews want democracy, prosperity, and freedom for everyone, Palestinian, Arab, no less so than Jew. But if it is genocide against the Jew that is pursued, following in the footsteps of the demented Hitler, then there will be walls, barriers, and no end to this conflict. It is no less tragic, the pain that the children of Gaza are experiencing. They do not deserve this. It is Hamas and Islamic Jihad that went into Israel to mass murder Jews and take hostages, and then retreated to Gaza to hide behind civilians. This is what jihadi cowards are good at, murdering civilians and hiding behind their own civilian populations and using them as shields. And then when civilians on their side are killed, in the inevitable response to their terror, they and their allies and supporters gleefully manipulate civilian casualties for their own propaganda value. The outrage many have against Israel for civilian casualties of war that Hamas and Islamic Jihad created, while never expressing outrage or concern, not only when the civilians not only when the civilians harmed our Jews, but also for the countless civilian casualties of the countless many other wars on this planet that have nothing to do with Israel, as a reflection not of morality, justice, compassion, or concern, but of hypocrisy at best. In light of the serious environmental and nuclear threats the world faces, where all of human life is at peril, it continues to be once again continues to be a shame, a tragedy, that what sparks outrage is Israel's response to terror, and not the only outrage that must exist, and that is absent, which is to end war, stop environmental destruction, eliminate nuclear weapons, end mass poverty, end the severe religious and political repression that destroys the lives of millions, and once and for all, the violence and murder committed in the name of religion.